Well, last month, you remember the federal government passed a historic $349 billion stimulus package, which meant to help small businesses stay afloat. Well, the Senate also trying to push forward another $250 billion in aid.
But the funding is not easy to get, leaving many small businesses in limbo. Let's go to Nicole right now in our newsroom to speak with a business lawyer about how these businesses can actually get the help they need. Nicole.
Calvin and Christy, thank you. Ben, thank you so much for being with me. And we know small businesses are struggling right now. A lot of people are struggling right now, even though the president has tried to help them with some relief funds. I have spoken to so many small business owners that say they're really hurting and they want to just open up their doors, risking this pandemic. What are other options for these small businesses other than just sitting around waiting for some money?
Thanks for having me on. So let's put this in context. This was legislation that was passed only 2 weeks ago. It's an incredibly ambitious mandate to roll out $349 billion in loans. And so yes, initially there was some confusion in the marketplace. Banks were struggling to figure out how to implement processes to get these applications rolling. So at this juncture, though, things are starting to improve. For the small business owner, the most important thing to do right now is to gather their documentation. First of all, figure out what documentation they're supposed to be gathering. And there's great resources online, and one of them I'd like to point out is accesshelps.org, and there are others as well. But the first thing is find out what documentation to gather, and then find out whether your bank is participating in the program. Because at the end of the day, all of these applications have to go through commercial banks or other SBA qualified institutions.
And I know some small businesses have had to lay off some employees just to keep the business afloat. I know it's also a case-by-case scenario, but what can you tell these small business owners about the long-term expectations? What can they expect in order to build themselves back up?
Well, it's a complicated, multifaceted question, and I think part of the problem is that there is not just the short-term uncertainty of when we're going to be flattening the curve, but also what does the world look like when we exit that part of this crisis. If you're a restaurant owner, are your customers going to want to sit 6 feet from each other, 8 feet from each other? That's obviously going to have an effect on your economics, right? How many tables can you fit in? How many customers are coming in? So the best thing to do right now is to utilize the resources that are there. And right now, the most powerful resource is this PPP, this payroll protection program. But it is a limited pot of money. So there is some reason to be cautiously motivated to go out and get these applications in, because just to run a simple example, if you're a company that had $100,000 in payroll the last 12 months, then you can borrow approximately 20% of that, which is $20,000, which will help you keep your employees on your payroll and could mean the difference between keeping your lights on or shutting down your business.
Right. I totally understand. Ben, thank you so much for answering all my questions. Christy and Calvin, I'll send it back to you.